going on, Jerome's? So the future of Minnesota Fighting Vikings quarterback Kirk Jerome Ezekiel Cousins is the number one question this offseason, but the Vikings do have the space, and they do have the motivation. Ownership, Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell have already brought back Kirk Cousins twice, but if they run it back in 2024, maybe on a multi-year deal, perhaps that could push the Vikings, who drafted number 11 overall, out of the quarterback business for a year, even though it would behoove them to take a quarterback in the deepest quarterback class in NFL history, or potentially. Certainly they should do that. But Kirk Cousins isn't the only true free agent this offseason that is concerning for the Vikings. Danielle Hunter, the real deal Hunter, the Vikings redid his contract last offseason. He has a no-tag clause, so they can't tag him. They can't tag and trade him. So it is what it is. And Danielle, even though he's going to be 30 in October, is still a talisman on the edge. 16.5 sacks. He was perfect for the Flores scheme, and he's still one of the best edge rushers in the game. But it could be a spot where Kirk Cousins is back, and Danielle Hunter, some team throws 26 million bucks a year at him, and the business is the business. So the Vikings could go into the offseason and the draft perfectly fine at quarterback for a year or two, and a major need at edge rusher, especially depending on what happens with DJ Wanham. Unless Marcus Davenport comes back, my God, we will riot. But the Vikings head into the draft need to double down potentially. Also, do you remember the KFC DoubleDown? Now, I was in college when they brought this thing out, and I used to actually work for a living. So I had this factory job during the summer when I was in college, and there was a KFC like right next to the factory. So every single day I would get done exhausted and just go to KFC and get one of these mofos. It was so stupid. It's like, hey, instead of bread, we're going to have fried chicken as the bread, and just have cheese and mayo and bacon in there. Not gonna lie, it was really, really good. But the Vikings could potentially double down on the defensive line as they lose Danielle. And we need to go back to Korean barbecue, man. That's right. So Luke Easterling over at Sports Illustrated. Yes, Sports Illustrated is still a thing. Perhaps their demise had been greatly exaggerated. Who knows? But our guy Luke Easterling, NFL draft guru, formerly at USA Today, did up a 2024 NFL mock draft new 3-round forecast for Senior Bowl week. Now, the Vikings don't have a third-round pick because of the Hockenson trade, but are selecting at 11 and 42 overall. And the Vikings at 11, They get the one-for-one replacement for Danielle Hunter. Dallas Turner, edge rusher coming out of Bama. Now, there isn't. This is a weird year where there isn't a top 10 edge rusher. I mean, maybe Turner, maybe Latu sneak into the top 10, sure, but I mean, there isn't a guy that says like, hey, this guy is going to go top 5 like there usually is. But Turner, Latu from UCLA, Jared Verse from Florida State, all could be in the mix, and the Vikings snag Dallas Turner here. This is what Luke wrote. There's not a quarterback we're taking here. So the Vikings would be better off addressing one of multiple needs on defense. If the board falls this way, the best value would come in the form of an explosive edge rusher in Turner, who has the versatility and athleticism to make a huge impact right away. And it's a spot where best player available syncs up with position of need. You love it when a plan comes together. And Dallas Turner, so the edge that Turner is going to have is going to be upside because he is currently 20 years old, turns 21 in February, and Verse and Latu are a little bit older prospects, so they're potentially already capped out on what they can do. But Turner, 6'4", 242, first team All-SEC, co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year with Mississippi State linebacker Nathaniel Watson, who come on in as well. Consensus All-American. His junior season, 55 pressures, 10 sacks, and 81.6 PFF grade. And he is a true stand-up outside linebacker. Rushes with power. Can even add a little bit more size to his frame as well. And already has a suite of counter moves. And he rushes with a plan. And that's something that you get from the quality coaching from the Saban defense for all those years, is that the edge rushers are pretty much plug and play, are ready to rock and roll. And Turner, in the final year of Saban, he is that guy. Had a very solid game against Michigan, had himself a sack in the semifinal game. And Turner, in terms of what you need specifically for a stand-up outside linebacker in Flores' scheme, he would be absolutely dynamite and perfect. Now, he's not quite where he needs to be against the run, But if you're looking for a guy who has the potential to be a Von Miller or a TJ Watt in this class, I mean, Dallas Turner is it. So perfectly happy with that. And the second round, Luke gave us Devonte Sweat, our guy. He's been a draft crush of ours for a long time. But the Vikings, hey, if they bring back Kirk and they're good at quarterback for a year, maybe they take a fourth round stab on like a Spencer Rattler or Michael Pratt, who knows. But in this spot, Devonte Sweat, I love him, man. And our main complaint about the Vikings defensive line for the last 2 years has been there hasn't been a true nose tackle. Harrison Phillips is playing his balls off out there, but he's playing out of position. But having a guy that will literally not allow the defensive line to move, that's what you need, man. And Sweat, a little bit older of a prospect, going to be 23 in July, but 6'4", 362. Outland Trophy winner for best lineman, unanimous All-American, and Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, 91.7 PFF grade, 26 stops against the run, 31 pressures as well. So, I mean, he's not just a two-down, run-stuffing nose tackle. Well, he is that too, but he can bring a little something in terms of a pass rush, put up 2 sacks and 31 pressures, which is really impressive of a nose tackle his size. And he and Byron Murphy II formed up a dynamic duo along that Longhorns defensive line, hook 'em, baby. And I love Sweat. I mean, plug and play him at that one tech spot, and 1 or 0 tech spot, and we're good to go. And not so much Turner, but with Sweat, Vikmodium AD, we're going to stop the runs, and we have the meats yet again. That's right, babe. That's right. But either way, like, if this is how it turns out, more than happy. More than happy. Devonte Sweat, second round. Dallas Turner, first round. Let's rebuild that bully on defense, man. Let's get after it. But your thoughts are thoughts. Luke Easterling, Sports Illustrated, a mock draft of Vikings. Ooh. Double down on defensive front 7 talent. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.